With summer kicking into high gear, it's time to start planning some road trips. And while lots of items are on the checklist, remember to add a trip to Goodyear.com to the itinerary. When it comes to choosing tires, let Goodyear.com help you choose what's best. Goodyear, more driven.
And now, Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio.
When I pop the trunk, head the day. Y'all pop the trunk, I pop the hood.
Now act stupid, I'll pop the trunk. Now give me a boom.
He's Jalen versus everybody. What up, though? I'm David Jacoby.
And on the cool check-in, center stage on the mic.
And we putting it on wax. It's the new style.
And for the first time in 6 months, we're in the same studio at the same time. We are Jalen and Jacoby.
What do we do?
We're gonna be what they want.
We want to talk to our podcast listeners.
Yeah.
You know, because I see the tweets and I'm on Reddit, and our podcast listeners are our most valued consumers of our content.
No doubt.
Have been with us for this long, and we're pretty. We put on makeup and we go on TV, but it's our podcast listeners that we really want to stay with us. And we've heard the complaints. They don't like the coast to coast and the delay, and they don't like the guest host. Well, guess what? I moved to New York City, and right now we are officially in our brand new studio in the Seaport. Show 1, Jalen and Jacoby, back together in the same room the way it should be.
Reg, well, normally when things like that are said, you should do like air horns and some like really big celebratory.
I don't have my sound box yet.
What about Reg?
Reg doesn't have my soundboards. I don't have my soundboards. And now Reggie's apologizing because he's working. But listen, you're going to get a brand new, this is a new chapter for Jalen and Jacoby. It's a new time to reinvent the show. So we will sit here and tell you there will be bigger and better things in store for this show.
We have some great plans. Now for this show.
Now that we're in the same room, here's the one thing about this.
Just gets better with time.
Here's the thing about this that's going to change, though. You can't help but have a little bit of a pre-show meeting now. You can't help it, because you're here already from Get Up. You can't just walk in when it's time to shoot. You're going to be here. I don't know what you're going to do. Somehow you're going to find a way to take a 4-hour bathroom break.
Here's how it works.
Something.
You're going to be prepping for the show, and I'm going to be around the building eating and watching First Take.
Yup, checking out Molly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep,
that's what I'm going to be doing.
I understand. So as we always do, it's important to us that we give exclusive content for our podcast listeners. And there's a lot to cover in the rundown. Of course, we'll be talking about LeBron and Kevin Durant and Odell Beckham Jr.'s jump shot, blah, blah, blah. But there's a couple things that happened over the weekend. I said, I think we're going to have to talk about this, but we're going to put this on the podcast. For example, Russell Westbrook, who is known to listen to music, sing along to it. I've actually been pretty impressed with his ability to do so with various different genres of music. Well, this is the latest song that he's having me sing along to right after the Warriors clinched the NBA championship.
Goddamn, I'm glad y'all set it off. Used to be hard, now you just bet soft. Heard you was down with the AK. And now I see you on a video with Mr. Lake, looking like straight bozos. I saw it coming, that's why I went solo.
So Jalen,
I have a lot to say about
he's in
this.
the car, and he's listening to this song. I think he was organically listening to the song, and then he rewound it to film that. My question for you is, did he rewind to film that section, or was he just listening to the song and it was completely consequential? It just so happened to be after the Warriors.
Not consequential. It was done multiple times. And that's how usually people do for IG posts. You want to make sure there are things that are appropriate for posting and things that are not appropriate for posting. So he wanted to make sure he got it right. I think we can do this entire podcast on this record. It's so much to unpack for me. Okay, first and foremost, Ice Cube, the legend, the Don Mega, family, Big Three.
Shout out.
I've been in multiple videos with Ice Cube. The first one was called I Saw It Coming, featuring PMD after he left EPMD. Okay? He sampled that record. I'm in that video with Ice Cube playing video games in 1994. Okay. Number two, people underestimate the fact that Russ is from Cali.
Yep.
So he's going to be born and bred of that West Coast sound and know that strong diss tracks have come from certain eras. Now, I remember, and it broke my heart, the breakup of NWA. Oh, man, I was torn. I was torn when Beanie Siegel and Jada weren't seeing eye to eye. Like, when you have relationships in these situations, you know, I wasn't as cool with Big and Pac, but I lived that too. But when you have personal relationships with these people, those dynamics are a lot different. And so, like, when Cube came, well, first off, NWA came out with 100 Miles and Running, amongst other songs, on their Ends for Life album, which is a classic, Ninjas for Life. When he came with No Vaseline, I'll never forget this. I was in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Okay, we were going from training table to study hall. Somebody went up in the record store and told me the album was out. Death Certificate. I went into the store. I stole Death Certificate.
Did they have that big plastic thing attached to it?
I stole it.
Did you steal the whole thing, or did they have those big plastics? Remember you had to steal it? Yeah, it was like a big old plastic thing. It was a foot and a half long.
Yeah, but this was
break it when you got home.
Correct. All you had to do was break it.
Yeah, just break it.
And you could just go around the sensor then.
Yeah.
Okay, so I literally stole it. Went to study hall, and everybody was teasing me because they was calling Cube my guy, because he was. I love NWA too. They was like, oh, your man soft because he ain't come back at this NWA, because it was the last record on the album. Mm-hmm. So we listened to 1, we listened to 15, we listened to 17, like, oh, your man soft. And then No Vaseline came out and changed the game. So for Russ, here's basically what he's saying. The key points in this record: first, you was down with the AK. That's him. He's the AK. Now, I see your video with Miss Chalet. That's the Warriors.
Okay.
Looking like straight bozos. Y'all won the chip, but how y'all linked up after we was beating y'all 3-1, like, I ain't feeling that.
There's a corniness to the Warriors, too.
And so, this is like, when I first saw that, you know what? I didn't do it. I'm going to do it right now. I was like, I need to follow him. Russ is my man. I'm about to follow him right now on this program because I said I was going to do it yesterday and I didn't. For this exact reason that he's still holding grudges and he's one of the players in the NBA that wasn't texting or tweeting LeBron James 30 seconds after he walked off the floor to come play with them.
So you think it is absolutely inconsequential, that very much on purpose he did this? So people, because he knows in today's day and age that if you do something like this, people like us are going to talk about it. And you think he did that intentionally too?
Yes, and let me remind you of something.
Please do, Mr. Rose.
Even if the beef was squashed, it can't be when I see you got burner accounts trying to clown me. Mm-hmm. Trying to say I'm the reason why you bounced and Billy Donovan can't coach, and then you put it out there and we figured out that it was your account. Gloves back off.
No matter how many hugs, no matter how many All-Star games, no matter how many everything, when you find out that someone was tweeting about you in a burner account,
gloves back off.
No matter how many times, no matter how many dinners, no matter how many times our wives get together, no matter how many times it happens, there's still going to be a little piece of him that's going to be upset about it.
And he just so happens to be an opponent that's really competitive, that averaged triple doubles in back-to-back seasons.
From one diss track to another, legendary hip-hop artist Lonzo Ball also released a diss track over the weekend. This one focused on teammate Kyle Kuzma. Let's listen.
We thumbing through that money. Look at y'all playing with your thumbs. Don't know who your daddy is. Well, your is getting some. We both taking shots. The only difference, you ain't hitting none. Usually do this shit for fun, but trust me, boy, I'm not the one. If you the bullet, I'm the gun. If you the pot, I'm cooking some. You won't smoke, you can get it.
So, I had one of my friends call me, like, did you hear about the Lakers having a diss track about each other? I was like, this is not a diss track. They've been dissing each other all year on social media. They're great friends on the team. This is nothing. Like, this is absolutely nothing. And then some people point out to the fact that he had that line about don't know who your daddy is. I almost feel like this entire thing was cleared by Kyle Kuzma first. And this wasn't the first time he heard the track. And just like everybody else, when they ever come out with a diss track, they're just trying to sell an album.
And both of those guys, not only terrific young prospects. Lonzo Ball actually had a good year. Improved.
He did. I like Lonzo Ball.
Had a solid floor game, getting boards and assists. Improved his three-point range. Needs to improve on finishing and a lot of other weaknesses that all young players should have. but he had a good season. Kyle Kuzma came out of nowhere starting in Summer League, making a name for himself, and before you know it, he's the Lakers' leading scorer. The first guy to do that in multiple decades in his first season. And I understand and have covered, as you mentioned, all of the things that Kuzma's posted about him, whether it's his outfit or how he eats or things about his family or whatever. And I don't know if Kuzma's an MC. And again, I know both of these guys, beyond basketball players, they want to be in the spotlight.
Yes, and they have good personalities.
And I'm not mad
I find
at
them both funny.
because they got good personalities. Kuzma, a fellow Michigander, so anybody that knows how we do, we ride or die regardless. Even if they wrong, I'll be in court like he's right. And so, however, when I heard the diss track, as somebody that didn't know his father growing up and did a little intel, and I think that Kyle Kuzma also did not know his father growing up, there are certain lines you cannot cross. And that's only the head-scratching part for me, is that part is something that's really personal, and I don't know if you should be putting it on wax like that.
That is the one line, but some tells me that he's either joked about it before, they've spoken about it before, and they're past that, and this isn't really a thing. Like, anyone who's trying to make this into a thing, it's not a thing. It's just a way for Zoe to try to sell some albums.
And they both were trending, which made both of them happy, I'm sure.
Exactly, and that's how it works. More hip-hop news. This is actual legitimate hip-hop. Lil Wayne performed at Summer Jam over the weekend, is now out of his contract, and the Carter 5 is supposed to be released. At this point, though, can you really release an album that you recorded 2 or 3 years ago?
You can do it, but it's tough on the fans.
Like, he's gonna have
you have dated references.
Yeah, he's gonna talk about the Cavaliers winning the championship.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. He's gonna be talking about Game of Thrones plot lines that are past.
See, that's the difference between music and movies. Like, movies are timeless to the point where no matter when they're seen or released, it puts you back in perspective of when it got shot. For an artist, it's like being an athlete. Me talking about what I did 2 or 3 years ago,
no one cares.
Ain't gonna be as relevant. No. That's just how it works. So it's gonna be interesting to see how he plays that, but I'm pretty sure being around as long as he's been around, he know to remix that material.
Yep. There's so much free agency news.
And I gotta say do one other thing too, and I wanna do this on wax. I gotta make sure I follow Russell, like I said I was gonna do.
All right, already lined into microphones.
Even though that I don't have a signal in here. I've been trying. The other thing I wanna do.
Studio we're working on.
Is I wanna buy Jay Prince's book.
Oh, he's been out here promoting it.
No question about it. Like, as a fan of the industry and somebody that really loved music and got exposed to rap a lot and all of that through the Ghetto Boys, who was one of my favorite groups and who the Fab Five acknowledged before we took the floor every game, it's fascinating the stories that he knows and he tells. And I've always been a fan of his. I would love to try to get him on our show.
All right. Well, we missed the tour. He was on tour. He was on every show.
I know. I saw him on the Breakfast Club.
He was on every single show last week. If you had a show,
that's
he was
my
on
man. I'm going to reach out to him, see if he can sign my book for me.
So there's going to be so much discussion about all the free agency stuff. But this one came across the line. No one's talking about this one. And I found it fascinating. Danny Ainge reached out to Sam Presti about potentially employing Carmelo Anthony on the Boston Celtics. And when I first saw this, I was like, this actually makes perfect sense. Like, this actually is a perfect fit. The Celtics have assets on assets on assets. They don't need 4 first-round picks next year. The Thunder, they need to figure out what they're doing. They don't want Carmelo Anthony. This makes perfect sense. And if you look at Brad Stevens, what does he do well? Hide people on the defensive end. Get the most out of the players that are on his roster, put them in the positions where they can succeed, and amplify their strengths and hide their weaknesses. And if you have a Carmelo Anthony on your team, you've got a young core, Kyrie Irving doesn't feel like that leader in the clubhouse kind of guy. You know what I mean? And if you've got these young players, Carmelo Anthony's a voice to listen to.
Now, Melo ain't considered that guy either. I just have to say that.
No, he will lead you into the lottery. He leads the team into the lottery.
But the reason why it becomes a conversation is if you're the Celtics, sometimes you just need somebody that can get you 15 points in a quarter.
Oh, yeah.
Or 20 points in a half when your offense gets stagnated, that's a veteran that's been around the league. As you alluded to, they have all young players.
In the Cavs series, it was Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum was like, it's like, oh, we got to drop a play for somebody. It's either Al or Jason Tatum.
You know what else? I got to just say this too. I miss the microphones. Are we going to get the microphones
You
back
miss the
in?
microphones?
Yeah, I feel like I'm missing something.
Really?
Yeah, I need these microphones. Like, for real.
I'll write an email.
Oh, no question.
I'll write an electronic mail. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. We just have to put them in a box and ship them here.
Okay, great.
See, sometimes I feel like the microphones got in the way of my outfits.
You could just move it.
No, but that was really, it was really just when you were on the road. When you were on the road, I felt like you looked at my screen, it was like 50% microphone and 50% one of the most handsome people in the world.
Now,
you know what I mean?
We're in the same studio at the same time.
I could use the microphones back. Let's get that back. But you would always complain about, remember, I'm left-handed. I'm left-handed. I can't move my hand.
But I don't write anything. I don't even have a pen.
I can't move my hand. I could see this happening. Could you see Carmelo on the Celtics? It seems like it would work to me. Here's
what's going to happen this offseason. There's so many deals that seem undesirable to go around. It's like, Miami, they're paying Whiteside how much?
What
happened at the end of the year? Nicholas Batum gets what? Ryan Anderson is what?
Anthony.
Yeah, so it's enough of those to go around.
And the Blazers got like 6 of them.
And then it's another term that I stole from the Podfather. Another few pre-agents.
Yeah, first of all, the Podfather stole that from one of his readers. I listened to y'all podcast. I was listening to your podcast with the Podfather, and I'm so familiar with your voice that I was listening to it like, I got to turn some music on. Didn't even realize that I couldn't turn music on and the podcast at the same time. I was like, they're not here with me. Yeah, I was like, they're not here with me. I got to do that.
Yes. So, and there are going to be guys that's going into final years of deals, like a Kemba Walker, for example, that want to get paid. What's going to happen with Boogie Cousins? And by the way, there aren't many teams this summer that have cap space.
No. Everyone's talking about LeBron like, he could go to the Rockets, he could go to the Blazers, he could go to the wherever, the Knicks, the Celtics. There have to do so many things have to happen in order to make that a reality.
I want to see the Sixers grow without LeBron. He ain't going there anyway, but I want to see their development without him.
I don't think he's going there. If you're LeBron James, you're like, do I really want every single game my season to be on the line of whether or not Joel Embiid gets injured? It just feels like every single game he's just going to have to, say a prayer that Joel didn't get injured.
And also, too, like, Philly has some work to do as it relates to seeing what they have in Markelle Fultz. So now if you take the ball from Ben Simmons and you're not allowing Markelle Fultz to develop, you just put LeBron into the situation. Yeah, you'll get to the conference finals, maybe even the NBA finals, but that's not going to beat the Warriors. And LeBron can't be going nowhere for 1 or 2 years. Can people stop saying that?
See, I disagree with that.
Oh, man.
I think you're just old. It's a new world, Jay. It's a new world. I've watched you on Get Up. Well, for his legacy, I don't want to see mercenary LeBron James. It's for his legacy because he needs to play. This is going to be the last team that he plays for. Why can't he just play for a different team once or twice?
LeBron can't be moving around the NBA like some jump off, trying to sneak and get 1 or 2 chips.
Yes,
Come on, man.
Why not?
Come on, man.
This is the players who have the power now. Control your destiny. You don't have to be Larry
Come on,
Bird,
man. He got a wife and kids,
Isaiah
bro.
Thomas, all the players that you look up to.
And speaking of his wife and kids, you first said it on this fine program that LeBron James is going to play how long?
Jalen, I know you don't come to the pre-show meetings, but we have the television show and then we have the podcast exclusive stuff. You're covering all of the material for the television program now.
Good. Because this is the time we normally be shooting a television program, but since we're not, it's just coming out since I'm sitting in a chair. I'm in a new studio and we're talking about sports.
It takes a little while. It takes a little while to get caught up. So, this is one that didn't make the television show, which is huge news.
Pusha T and Drake beef.
What year is this? That was 3 weeks ago, Jalen.
I know.
And we already spoke about it when you were on remote.
True.
Here's what it is. You know what you're doing? You really want to talk about it on Get Up more? I know what it is. You really want to get into the details and Get Up, but you're like, I got Greeny and Michelle here. I can't do it. But for real, let's just do a quick thing on it, just to appease you. Drake, if you really do have this song, you have to release it. You can't say, I would have won, but I was just being too nice. I was being too nice. I didn't want to end his career, so I didn't put out this song.
Here's what I learned about hip-hop.
Drake, if you got it, you got to release it.
So here's what I learned about hip-hop. And I've experienced some of the greatest diss records of all time. And the beauty about being on the sideline is like us covering sports. We're just here to keep score. We ain't here to, pick a side. But I will say this. I would think that theory of him having a song to come back to Pusha T would be something to be released until I hear Jay Prince speak. What? Once I hear him speak and he say that is over, it's over.
But why did Jay Prince? Well, why?
It's over.
Why did Jay Prince tell him not to put it out?
It's over. Because he felt like.
See, I heard Puffy give an interview. I believe it was. I don't know who it was for, so I won't say it. But Puffy was like, "I told Biggie not to respond because things could have, and you saw the way they ended." That makes a little more sense to me. You know what I mean? But today's day and age is different. I don't feel like lives are on the line in the Pusha T Drake beef.
This is where you and I disagree, and this is what I'm trying to tell you into a microphone.
Okay.
When you're dissing Drake, amongst other things, you're dissing Jay Prince. Because his son, in one way, shape, or form, was a part of the discovery of Drake. Okay? And that is an industry for all of them. They're here to sell hit records and to create a global iconic situation for Drake that they've already fostered. Okay. Pusha T fit for this battle rhyme and stuff. Yeah, he could go corporate. You could take him to the hood or the White House. He lived that life.
There's no nice from Pusha T.
But this is what he does. You see what I'm saying? He's about that life in his own way. And all of the time on this program, when I started listing the people that I appreciate as artists, both of them came up in the category of bars.
Bars.
Right?
Yes.
And so, for them two guys to be going head to head, and for some of the things that got said, did Drake allude to Pusha T's significant other? Then Pusha T took the baton and he did a lot of alluding to Drake's personal life. Mm-hmm. At some point, Jay Prince, as a referee, had to come in and be like, this is enough, it's crossed the line, because when it gets personal, then how do you handle situations that make you feel some type of way?
Did Jay Prince say this is enough, Drake, you're just going to have to eat this L? Or was Jay Prince like, you did your thing, Drake, you did your thing, but we're going to have to end it here?
No, he said, we got to end it right now, you just got to take the L.
See, I would respect it if he said you got to take the L, but something tells me, it's managing personalities. I'm a producer too. You've got to manage personalities. He was like, oh, Drake, that Duppy freestyle, you really bodied him on that. And then he responded, but all he had was something people already knew. You take care of your kid, don't worry about it.
But there's another sentence to that. I need you to take the L for me and for us. What? Now, in return, I'm going to squash it. But then if he says something else, you let me handle it.
Okay.
That's how that goes.
I always go to don't beef down. It's a come up for Pusha T to be involved in this. It's not a come up for Drake to be involved.
They're both industry veterans.
It's a come up for Meek Mill to be involved in this.
No,
it's not a come up.
No.
For
you're looking at it. You're looking at it from who's more popular perspective.
Yes,
it's different.
I'm looking at
No.
Pusha T has an album out. He just dropped an album, and then all of a sudden we're talking about him on the Get Up in the Morning on ESPN.
We disagree.
That's a come up for you.
We disagree.
That's more promotion. You can have you can have all the street teams in the world. You can have a street team in Switzerland. That's not going to get you the coverage.
I'm going to say no as many times as I can.
I'm going to keep talking though.
When Young MC sells a lot of records, or Vanilla Ice does as well, they're popular.
No, I only have one name on my No Slander list.
Okay.
Vanilla Ice.
And so this ain't Pusha T rapper trying to pull up off the bootstraps of one mainstream superstar, Drake, because when you start talking about who can spit into a microphone the best, those two gentlemen's name has come up for me personally for years.
Sure.
So to me, they
I'm not just crediting him as a rapper. Don't turn into that.
So to me, that's Wilder and Anthony Joshua. Like, I want to see the heavyweights. It's great when I saw Floyd and the lighter fighters getting into the ring, but these are the heavyweights. Okay? And that's why you need the ultimate triple OG in Jay Prince to come squash it. And I'm happy that he did, and I can't wait to buy his book.
I'm happy that you're here. It's great to do the show in the same room with you. Let's give the people what they want.
Summer road trip season is about to begin, and among the many ideas of where to go, you want to catch your favorite baseball team away from home. While the Lucky Cap, well-worn t-shirt, and road snacks make the checklist, don't overlook the most important part of your trip, your tires. That's why you need to add a trip to Goodyear.com to the list. Goodyear strives to make tires that go further, longer, and bring you what's necessary to get the most out of your driving experience. So when it comes to choosing tires, choose right at Goodyear.com. Goodyear, more driven.
After this weekend, and it feels like for the next 2 months are going to be filled with exactly this. Unfounded, irresponsible speculation about free agent LeBron James. This is basically all that is going to be discussed in sports media for the next 2 months. And it's already started.
I like how y'all put unfounded, irresponsible, and speculation.
It's already started. They haven't even had the parade yet. And now we have Kevin Durant. He's saying, I don't see LeBron joining the Warriors. ESPN, Kevin Pelton. This is the roadmap to get him to the Rockets. And then you got Gary Payton saying that his son has already committed to play in Southern California, so he's going to be in the Lakers. Dan Gilbert's out here being like, we can build a championship team without LeBron. So, Jalen, you've been around sports media and the NBA for a long time. How realistic is all of this, and how do we deal with this for the next 2 months?
So when you're an iconic player like LeBron James, these are the conversations you earn. When in your 15th year you play all 82 games, you improve from three, you have a signature turnaround jump shot, you're making one-leg jump shots, you have more triple-doubles in the season than you've ever had. Like, he's an ascending basketball player.
He's the best basketball player in the world.
And so now all of a sudden you change the fortunes of 29 other teams if you decide to make a move. Mm-hmm. And in one way, shape, or form, players, coaches, agents, managers are going to use their relationships to try to foster a way to see if he will be a good fit with their situation. So it's not just, he may go to Philly and play with Embiid and Simmons. It's like, Rich Paul represent Ben too.
Oh, of course.
Or it's not just like go to Houston. It's like, but Chris Paul and him are best of friends.
Bro brothers.
And so like
Chris Paul also wants a max contract.
No doubt. So it was hooked by the teams as well. Like when the Washington Wizards hired KD's high school coach.
Mm-hmm. We all remember
felt like he was going to go there. And KD like, I'm glad y'all showing him love, but not going to be able to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's really what's happening now. It's the public jockeying for the great one,
But
LeBron
as a sports
James.
fan and an NBA fan, like how do I filter out all of this information? How do I filter out the unfounded, irresponsible speculation versus the actual tangible nuggets of information that might lead to a decision from LeBron?
Here's what you do. You don't go to the major concert that has the 50,000 screaming. Okay? You come to the boutique tastemaker album release party like Jalen and Jacoby to get all of your information.
This is where you get the real information?
No question.
So what's the real information? He has no idea where he's going to go yet, right?
No, the real information is I wish ESPN was following Jalen and Jacoby because you said LeBron James is going to play how long? How long is LeBron James going to play in the league?
Listen, Jalen, we have a rundown. This is a very structured program.
I know.
Okay? Very structured program. I know exactly how long LeBron James is good. I'll tell you in a second.
Okay.
But first, I'll tell you this. I have a team that LeBron James should play for that no one is talking about. I have a way for LeBron James to cement his legacy in the NBA, to get exactly what he wants, to end all of the conversations. This will end everything. Do you want to know what that team is?
The Pistons.
That team is the Charlotte Hornets. And let me tell you why. Imagine LeBron James coming to the Hornets. They're not going to win this year.
That don't even look right.
They're not going to win next year. But Michael Jordan and LeBron James are doing press conferences together. They're playing one-on-one after practice. They've got a signature handshake that they do after buckets. And then, in like 3 years after he's brought in some more free agents, they've made a couple moves, and they win the NBA championship. Michael Jordan holds the Larry O'Brien trophy up, hands it to LeBron James, and says, "You are the greatest of all time, LeBron." Jalen Rose. He said after he won a championship that he's only chasing the ghost in Chicago. Wouldn't this be the way to check every box, to tie a bow on his career and hand it over and be truly the GOAT?
I can't front. I like what you did with this.
Think about them playing one-on-one after practice, learning moves from each other. He could score a buzzer beater and say, oh, Michael in practice told me that I should turn over my left shoulder more. Like, wouldn't this be great for us? Wouldn't this be great for NBA fans?
It would be great for NBA fans, but it's never going to happen.
Why not?
And a couple of things. You think LeBron James is going to get something out of playing one-on-one versus a 95-year-old Michael Jordan?
Oh, you don't think LeBron James does things just for the media? You don't think LeBron James does things just for the media to speculate and talk about? Yeah, he doesn't do things like that.
To the podium?
Oh, you're right. Yeah, LeBron James would never manipulate the media and do things just for show. You're right, Jalen Rose. That would never happen.
But here's the thing that really, I have to shoot down your theory. I remember when Michael Jordan became a part owner, now full-time owner of the team, and people just felt like players are going to blindly flock down there to play with him for the reason that you just said.
Nicholas Batum is
right.
there.
Well, that
Dwight
didn't
Howard?
happen.
Dwight Howard?
Right. That didn't happen.
No, it
and
didn't.
So it's not going to happen in this case, number one. Number two, did you say they're going to win a championship in 2 or 3 years?
I said 3 years. 3 years. No one would, only Frank Kaminsky would be on the team. He'd be the only one. It'd be Frank Kaminsky and a bunch of new dudes. That's what it would be.
But I like what you.
It's a fun theory.
So here's the most fun theory.
Oh no! And then they become co-owners, Jalen. Then they become co-owners after his career. And then you've got LeBron and Michael Jordan, co-owners of a franchise in the NBA.
LeBron in his own squad. Here's the greatest hypothetical for LeBron.
Kind of intriguing.
I got the hypothetical for LeBron. I wish I could say Detroit, but I'm going to give you the real one.
What's that?
New York.
I love this too.
The day you sign, you're a legend amongst everybody that's ever supported the New York Knickerbockers.
Oh, of course.
The day he puts on the
Tim
uniform.
Hardaway Jr. is already a legend.
The expectations are not championship or bust there.
Oh,
they have not done it since 1973. And he would light up Manhattan. He would light up Madison Square Garden.
Rich Paul, get at us. Mav, hit us up.
That's the move. Not going to L.A. where they have so many statues in front of the building you can't get in.
They don't have a spot. Come in the back door.
Or so many banners that you got to wait to wash your clothes. Mm-hmm. That's too much. You go to New York City. You play with Coach Fizz, who was with you in Miami, and y'all do a wink-wink deal with the owner, James Dolan, who has legacy money, nepotism, and you say, okay, you give me a little piece of the squad.
I love this. Well, LeBron James,
the king,
he had a little behind-the-scenes documentary of his finals experience. I can't imagine what network was on. Oh, that's right, on his own network, uninterrupted. And he had something interesting to say that is broken news for Jalen and Jacoby listeners.
To everyone else, it's breaking news. To Jalen and Jacoby listeners, it's broken news.
You want to ask me what was the greatest achievement of my life? If I'm on the same court as my son in the NBA.
That's pretty cool.
That will be number one in my lifetime as an NBA player. I thought about it because my son is about to be 14 and he might be able to get in there a little earlier.
Play together.
Or play against.
Okay, there's a lot to unpack there. First of all, you know I've been saying this for over a year. Over a year now.
Longer than that.
That he will end his career when his son,
saying it since he got back to
LeBron Jr., gets in the league. And he'll be about 38 years old. It all times up perfectly, right? So there's that. So, Jalen, how realistic is it that this actually happens?
It is realistic. You've seen it happen in baseball with the Bonzes, the Griffeys.
Yep.
The difference in basketball is normally even all-time great players weren't able to produce 20 years in. Now with the level of extension of careers for so many different reasons, schedules lightened, the game isn't as physical, the exposure to medicine and nutrition, they're just, again, I always say athletes in my time, we worked out. These guys physically train. 24/7, 365.
LeBron James famously spent $1.5 million on his physical upkeep last year. I believe $1 million of that was on hair plugs, but you know, who knows? Who knows?
And so now that he has that and his son has become a terrific prospect, it is a realistic thing when he's playing as well as he's playing. And LeBron James has been fairly healthy as it relates to somebody at this point of his career that's played so many minutes.
He's always healthy. He's a robot. So I moved into a new place. As you know, Jalen, I'm in New York City now.
I am so happy you guys made it to the East Coast.
And we haven't unpacked everything, and I'm still trying to find the Ring doorbell that I had. Because I loved it so much in Los Angeles. You have two-way HD video. You can see who's coming to your door. You can see if it's friend or foe. You can buzz them in. There's so much you can do with this. And you can do it not just when you're at your house.
And I got a surprise, and you know I'd never lie to the people.
What's that?
Just yesterday, we set up the same thing.
You got one just yesterday. And he's showing me his phone. First of all, you would lie to the people. You're not lying about this. This is a fact. I need my Ring doorbell. I can't wait to set it up, because especially when you live in New York, there's a flight of stairs between me and the door. It's not the same as it used to be. You can't just look out the window. There's a flight of stairs to see who's at my door, and I'm going to set up my Ring doorbell, and I will give you an update when I do.
They work amazing.
And Jalen just got his set up. You think that we're lying. We're absolutely not. We believe in this product. Safety is important for your family, especially when you got a wife and kids. You're responsible for everybody. It's a lot of pressure. And as a listener of Jalen and Jacoby, you get a special offer so you can, like us, have a Ring doorbell. You can have a Ring starter kit available right now with a video doorbell, motion-activated floodlight cam. The whole starter kit has everything you need to build a ring of security around your home. Go to ring.com/JNJ, ring.com/JNJ, and set up your Ring doorbell and your floodlight cam.
Sometimes it's hard to find a satisfying vape that's simple and convenient. Blue, who introduced vaping to the world, is now introducing My Blue. My Blue gives you all the satisfaction with none of the hassle. Just click and go. With My Blue's easy-to-use one-click liquid pods, you can switch between flavors in seconds. There's a range of flavors to choose from, and it takes just 20 minutes to charge. For a limited time, Blue is letting you try their new My Blue starter kit for just $1. But hurry, this won't last long. Terms and conditions apply. Go to myblue.com today to learn more.
Jalen Rose.
Yes, indeed.
The Warriors have a free agent, a gentleman by the name of Kevin Durant.
Iceberg Slim.
The Warriors general manager, Bob Myers, had this to say about his impending free agency. He said, quote, "He's earned the right to sign whatever deal he wants. I just want him to sign a deal. But I want him to be happy and want him to know that we want him as long as he wants to be here. He's earned that," to kind of lay out those terms. He can do whatever he wants. That shouldn't be a long negotiation. Let's take a look here at some of his options. If Kevin Durant could sign everything he wants, some of the deals he could sign are opt in for $26.3 million, sign a one-year deal for $30 million, or sign a 4-year $158 million deal, or a 5-year $219 million next summer. Jalen Rose, if you're Kevin Durant, there's a variety of different ways he could go with this. What do you think he should do?
Sign a 4-year deal.
For less money. The 4-year deal is like about $39.5 million a year, and if he waits a year, he can sign one that's about $45 million a year.
At this summer, I signed a 4-year deal. Here's why I do it. At 20, I'm thinking about my age and my upside. I'll get the 4-year deal and be a free agent again when they'll be up for an extension in 2 years.
Yeah. And if he really was unhappy with the deal, it's only 3 seasons, and the 4th season you end up leaving.
And you still getting your bird rights after 2 years. So I got the long-term security because I signed for 4. I'm still getting the ability to sign an extension because I only got to play 2 more. And also, I'm trying to do this before everybody else start to really get paid.
Lock me in before Draymond comes up. Lock me in before Clay comes up. Like let's end this drama, because if I opt in and only play for 1 year, or I sign a 1-year deal, they might look at the team and say, you know what? We can replace what KD does. We can't replace what Draymond does.
Correct. And also, there's always going to be tinkering with the team.
Yes.
But you know who they're never going to try to tinker with? KD and Steph.
Oh, my bad.
And so, based on that, who says no if the Pelicans, which they won't do this, say, you give me Draymond and Clay, and y'all take Anthony Davis. So, based on that, when you're KD, you want to be locked in for 4 years. And that's the same number, if I'm not mistaken, that Steph Curry has remaining on his deal.
Oh, because one thing he did say that he wanted to play till he was 35. So if he does a 1-year deal and then signs the Supermax, the $219 million deal, which is projected it's $219, that would end when he was 35 years old. But he also said maybe I was just drunk when I said the 35 thing. So who knows? We all say things after the campaign.
He was on Kimmel. His voice was hoarse.
Yeah, sure,
you could tell
wearing
he
the same pink
went
sweatshirt
sleep for 3 or 4 days.
Well, obviously LeBron James lost the finals. And then we started to hear things about his hand. And then the Warriors have done this. The Warriors have some things to say. Steve Kerr went on the Get Low podcast.
Get Low.
Low Post podcast, and he said how difficult it was this year for him and for the Warriors. And David West was, after they won the championship, there was so much going on behind the scenes. The struggle was so real for us. You guys have no idea. You'll never know how hard it was for us. The Warriors saying these things is the exact same thing as LeBron James wearing the cast to the podium. When LeBron James wears the cast to the podium, do you know what he's saying? Guess what? This was so hard for me. You see all those numbers I put up? I had to do it with this broken hand. Then the Warriors are like, oh, I see your cast, and I'll raise you this. This was so hard for us. Look how difficult it was. Us. You guys don't even know the struggle that happened behind the scenes in the locker room for us. Do you think... Do you like my theory that the Warriors are basically, their quotes about how hard their season was the same thing as LeBron James wearing the cast?
Same exact thing.
It's the same thing.
I love what you did there.
Thank you, Mr.
That's a
Rose.
good call.
Thank you, Mr. Rose.
Because the Golden State Warriors have trolled LeBron James the last few seasons. Mm-hmm. And so when LeBron James won the championship, what did he do? He let them know it.
Oh, he had the T-shirt with the Warrior thing on it, the Ultimate Warriors, and then he had the Halloween party with the cookies. Yeah, he let them know.
So now it's like, it ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. Mm-hmm. And you at the podium, oh, look at my hand. And they like, you know what? This destination was the hardest thing I could have ever got accomplished.
It was so hard to
life.
win this championship with Steph and KD.
I could have climbed Mount Everest
Draymond
before winning this chip.
Oh, and by the way, you'll never find out about the struggle because our locker room is so tight. I'm so proud. You'll never find out about our struggle. Probably because it doesn't exist, let's be honest. It probably because
and by the way, if it was that deep, then you wouldn't be telling us.
Everybody has their struggle. Everyone's got a sob story about everything. I could tell you a sob story about putting together this show today. You couldn't because you don't work on the show. One thing we're putting together the show that was very interesting was a report by someone who is very much tied into the Warriors organization, Tim Kawakami, now of The Athletic. He's a Warriors lifer. He said that the Warriors are still interested in acquiring Anthony Davis. Can you imagine a basketball team being interested in acquiring Anthony
Let me
Davis?
see. We were driving to work, and we rolled past a couple of parks. They was outside, and I was like, Anthony Davis in the car, he got next. Yeah. And they just all stopped playing.
Yeah.
Like, he can play on our team.
Yeah, you would never imagine that a basketball team is interested in having Anthony Davis play for them.
Is that news?
Yeah, I mean, the defensive stopper, the rim protector that's also a three-point shooter, and a perfect pick-and-roll guy.
College, a team anywhere actually would accept Anthony Davis to come play with them.
It's so good to be in the same room with you, Jalen. I'm so glad we're reunited. It's great. We're going to turn a corner. I feel like good things are in the future for Jalen and Jacoby. The only thing I have to say that isn't right, Reg, Harlan, Tanner, Alex, Nate, and everybody else that has worked or does work on this program, 3,000 miles away. I don't know how Reggie's waves look today. I know he's wearing a hoodie, but I don't know how his waves look. But I also know that he went through some voicemails and picked the ones that gave him a shout out, and he's going to play them on the show just like this.
Yo, Reggie, I finally saw a picture of you, and I just want to say you have better waves than Jalen, but Jalen, that hairline's crispy. So 1 point for Reggie, 1 point for Jalen. Jacoby, I don't know what you got going on top of your head, but whatever. Like Draymond said, going deep in the corners. But my name's Manny, and I just want to hit y'all with a soft move or a boss move. This one girl hates me, right? And I was staying in the house with them down at the beach. And because she hated me, I went to the supermarket and cooked everybody like a big meal. Fried shrimp, seasoned rice, broccoli, all types of stuff. She hasn't come home yet, but when she gets home, she's going to eat it because she's going to be hungry. And then we're going to let her know who made it. Do you think that's a soft move or a boss move, cooking to somebody's heart? All right, man. Have a great time. Have a great day. See ya.
So thank you for the call. I appreciate the love. But, shout out. You know, we got to say the backhanded compliments. You know, Reggie got the best waves. That wasn't even a
backhanded compliment.
No, Reggie has the best waves. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have him at all.
Good point.
And David Jacoby, whatever he said about your hairline is how you rock it.
It's creeping in the corners. It's not how I rock it. This is how it was given to me. Yep. You know? This is what happened. I've been looking at old pictures of myself, and they was creeping in the corners 10 years ago. But it's definitely noticeable now. It's definitely noticeable.
And I know me and Reg was 1-1 to that caller, but If you see the emotional tweets that Reggie put up, I should get 2 points and win this battle.
Yeah, you should. You should. And it was funny how I talked about Reggie's waves and then him getting a shout out, and that's the first thing that Vinny said. It's like he only filters the calls based on how many times his name gets mentioned.
Can I tell you what that is?
If you want to get on the show, just name Reggie's Instagram and Twitter handle, and you'll be on the show tomorrow.
Can I tell you what?
What?
That's smart. If I'm Reg, I'll do that too.
Mm-hmm. And we have a message. Ladies, hey, ladies! Tomorrow is Women's Wednesday, where we celebrate the more intelligent, more responsible, and generally superior gender of our species, the ladies.
Like Joey over your right shoulder, that picture is so classic with her, the twins, and Q holding it down.
So, ladies, call 985-80-JALEN, leave us a voicemail. We'll be taking exclusively ladies' voicemails tomorrow. Today, we're taking all callers like this one.
What up, though? It's your boy Hank from Detroit. Shout out Jalen and Jacoby. Jalen and Jacoby family. Shout out Reg, of course. Jalen, so I'm a fellow Detroiter, and we just got Matt Patricia for the Lions. Very excited about that. Dwayne Casey just got hired as the Pistons coach, and I'm just wondering what you all think. Who do you think will have a better coaching season? Who do you think we will say had a better coaching season at the end of the year in Detroit? Dwayne Casey or Matt Patricia? I think it might be Dwayne Casey just because the East isn't that great, and, that's about it. But let me know what your thoughts are. Keep getting them checks. Keep giving the people what they want. All right.
Great question. 2 new head coaches in the 2 biggest sports in one of the greatest cities in the world. Great question. Who's going to have a better season? Not a better career, a better season. Patricia or Casey?
What up, though? Thank you for the call. Appreciate the question.
Shout out.
And for making me think, wow, we did change coaches in football and basketball this offseason.
I want to let this caller know that Jalen leaned back in his chair and made a face like, ooh, good question, and then started thinking.
I do a lot of multimedia, television, and radio. I have not been asked that one.
This is a good question.
And I didn't think about that.
Well, let me tell you this. He really answered it for you. You've got the Eastern Conference, and then you've got the division that the Lions are in, that has the Minnesota Vikings, the Packers,
they're gonna be, I know,
and the Bears.
I know Minnesota won the division last year, and people may not view that as being a sleeper.
They went to the conference,
but people don't care who win the division. I think they're gonna be.
They went to the NFC Conference Championship.
Man. They're good. I hate that they're in our division. That's probably what's coming out of the microphone.
You got the Packers,
and they got Aaron Rodgers. He Hail Married us. When Calvin Johnson went to his knees, I did too.
I know.
I remember Brett Favre did that with Sterling Sharp. Overtime. Right back of the end zone. Oh, man, this division. Who was you saying in our division? I'm dizzy.
Bears.
Oh, they're average.
They're
all right, but they're not
rebuilding.
I love Chi-Town, but the Bears.
But y'all, there's a world in which y'all could end up. You're a Matt Stafford injury away from y'all ended up as 4th in division.
Yeah, the Bears ain't doing the Super Bowl shuffle anytime soon.
No.
No.
I would say Dwayne Casey.
I think Dwayne Casey as well.
Because in basketball, if he could flip the dynamics and get Blake Griffin to continue to play at an all-star level, Andre Drummond also, not too many teams in the East have 2 all-stars.
No.
So right off the top, that puts us in the mix. Now, what he gets out of Reggie Jackson is what I'm interested to see.
Reggie Jackson stay on the floor. He's had a lot of trouble staying on the floor for the Pistons. And one thing that Casey inherits is not a lot of flexibility. Like, this is not going to be a very active offseason for the Pistons. It's basically like he's got to look at his roster and say, we're going to draft somebody. And we got to make Kennard into something. We got to make Stanley Johnson into something.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to make what he has better, not make a better team.
Right. Yeah, I think he's the answer to the question. I think Patricia's going to do a really good job, and I'm going to do this a lot of Sundays and Mondays.
We'll see. Jim Bob Cooter's still there. That's all that matters. Still got Jim Bob Cooter.
I think Detroit Pistons the answer to this question.
Yep. We want to recognize Nick Nurse, who has just been announced as the Toronto Raptors head coach, replacing the new head coach of your Detroit Pistons, Dwayne Casey. I want you to do is look in your camera, and I want you to give some advice to Dwayne Casey in his role as head coach of the Detroit Pistons.
Case, welcome to the city. You know I got love for you. It was great to see you at finals doing your media tour. I know you're going to do a terrific job of not only developing the roster like you did in Toronto, but also getting the most out of our best players, in particular Blake Griffin and Andre Drummond. My advice, other than support the Jalen Rose Leadership Academy, come to our golf outing, and make sure that you get back to the community, is win.
I want to thank everybody that called today, and I want to make sure that ladies get on the phone and call 985-80-JALEN to leave us a voicemail. We'll be back tomorrow in the same room, in the new studio in New York City at the South Street Seaport. Why, Reggie? I forgot.
Done. We're not done. We're not done. Got to give the people time. Give people what they want.
They my little guys. I love them.